everybody. Let me see, got it. All right. So yeah, as I was saying, I did ask you guys to do a little bit of homework, which was to do with doing these pages. I wanted you to get your thumbnails done. If not, do them today. It just means you're going to use time today doing that because I wanted to move on. So I'll just go over sort of what we did last week. We came up with an idea. And so mine was this guy. I'll hold it up a bit. This guy was, hang on, start again. We're going to do a comic page or pages. And so just to do an idea, we did a bit of a storyboard, but this is also a comic strip. So you can see the guy's walking along, whistling, there's a banana, he slips, and then falls down and he's got crosses for eyes because he's dead. So that's just like a little comic strip. And then I designed a character and put some different poses, what he looks like whistling to what he looks like normally, what he looks like scared, what the bottom of his foot and the side of his foot looks like, what different hands look like. And then I did a pose for when he's slipping over. So then I roughed out a page, which is called a thumbnail. And you can see the different panels. Each one of these images has got a panel and it's telling the story. So I got basically from this bit to this bit, or actually just this bit on one page. So it was the guy whistling, and then you see the big city and he's whistling from the city. So, you know, he's walking along in the city. You see him walking down the street towards you. Then you'll see further up the street, there's a guy eating a banana. He throws the banana. You see the guy walking, you see the banana hit the ground, and then you see his foot coming towards a banana peel. And that's just one page. So really it was this panel I turned into one page of a comic. And then the next page of the comic is just one panel. And it's just this panel, him slipping on the banana peel. And then I'll do a third page where we see the guy that threw the banana peel watching as the guy falls and hits his head. And then the guy watching laughs. And then the very last panel, you see the guy that slipped on the banana peel with a big lump in his head, and then the bad guy running off. So 3 panels I turned into 3 pages of a comic. Now, I just remembered though, I had another drawing of this guy because I drew a bad guy as well. I don't know where that is. I have to try and see if I can find it. But I just wanted to remind you of some of the things I have talked about before doing comic classes, is different ways you can lay out your pages. So like I did the full image on one page, it's one panel on a page. Depending on how you lay it out, you can do just even panels. You can do 9 or 6 panels. I wouldn't do any more than 9. Although this one probably has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There you go. So little ones and a big one, and then a few medium-sized ones, diagonally cut ones, rounded ones. Just depends on how you want to tell your story. And then when doing the images within your panels, try not to draw them flat like this one. You get some depth. So you want to make it going back that way. You know, even the sky. So you can draw the clouds going backwards. Things are getting smaller in the distance, so they don't look flat. They look like we've got some 3D in them. Sort of like this kind of thing too. Things are getting smaller as they hit the vanishing point. Get some perspective. And then how you lay out your images to tell the story, where you put the horizon up high or down low in this one to show the ball in the sky. On this one, I put the horizon up high to show the ball on the ground. So there's different ways you can do things like that. Here's a couple more. Here's a little thumbnail of like a moon and a castle in the distance and close up on the tower, someone yelling, and then I think someone in their bed. Can't really remember, it was a while ago I did this one. So that first panel at the top is drawn like this. And this is about the rule of thirds, is what this is. So wherever you can split your drawing into 3, and wherever the lines go and wherever the intersections are, those circles, is where you want to put things within the panel. So in this one, if I'll just go over where I've divided it into 3, roughly like this. So you can see at this intersection of these 2 lines is where the castle sits. And originally I had the moon over here, but I decided to move the moon behind the castle. And the horizon's down low on this line. And then up in this intersection is where I put the speech bubbles. So it's about positioning things as well. So this one, the intersections, the rule of thirds, the tower is on that whole line, and on the intersection is a window. And then the last panel is this one. So sort of on this side of that intersection is where the mouth is yelling, and then I've got all these shock lines coming out, which are sort of pointing to the mouth, saying, look here. So there's things to keep in mind when doing your pages. And then I'm going to just quickly look for this other drawing I did. Should be just here. And then I'll show you how to do a page size, an A4 size picture of your page. In the meantime, you guys can work on your thumbnails. Is anyone already done their thumbnails? No. So everyone's still working on? That's fine. Oh, Riley, you're done? iPhone, are you done? You haven't changed your name again. There it is. Okay, so my bad guy. Because the bad guy and the good guy look very similar, I gave the bad guy big eyebrows and a mustache. Otherwise, he looks exactly the same. There might be 2 different colors as well to help tell the difference between them. Okay, so while you guys are working on that, because you need to get your thumbnails done for at least one page anyway, I'll show you how to rough out the page. So you pretty much want to go portrait, because that's sort of comic size. Try to get my camera really far away. So I'm working portrait, and you can use a ruler for this, or you can just eyeball it. Depends on if you want those perfect panels to be straight, or if you don't mind them being a bit wobbly. But the first thing I do is I draw a border, roughly about 1 centimeter. So you can see how that's sort of 1 centimeter from the edge, roughly. I do that all the way around. Because a lot of comics have sort of white border around their panels. Sometimes they have, it's on black paper, or it has black printed. But just so it's like that all the way around. And then within that, I'm going to, where's my thumbnail? I'm going to rough out these panels. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 layers. Riley, is that your page all set out? Nice. Okay. So then I'm going to look at my page and think, I might start with the bottom one, it's sort of the biggest one. Think, how big do I want it? Maybe it's about here. So it's that wide. And then I've got 3 little panels across there. And then I've got 2 panels, maybe about there. And then I've got 2 panels up there. Okay, so it's a bit hard to see, but I've got a curved one here. So I'm going to draw in a curve. Again, you could use a protractor or something like that, or a compass to get your curve in. And I don't know if you can see, but on this one, I've drawn this curved one a bit bigger than the shot of the city. So I've got my curve in there, but I'm going to drop the line down. And this one, I'm going to bring it up a bit. And I'll rub out that one. So then it's going to make it a little bit more interesting because not all the panels are the same size. And this one's now big and overlapping. I might just narrow it down a little bit here. Bring it in a little bit. So I've got panel 1, panel 2. Then I'm going to leave a gap, which I might use the line that was already there. And then I've got 2 panels to draw. So I'm just going to divide it in half. I'll get them roughly the same size. That one's going to sort of join up to that one. But where they meet, I want to rub out the lines in between. So they look like they're floating, they're all separate. See how there's nothing in these gaps now? These ones all touch here because this one's so big. So now I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 panels. My next row has 3 panels. So I can sort of divide them up. 1 in the middle there. Oh, I did that a little bit high. So bring in that bottom line. So if you are doing this with a ruler, you want to sort of measure it and make sure the panels are the same size. And rub out this bits where the lines intersect. There we go, got my 3. Hussein, have you got a question?
Are we drawing our own comics today?
Yeah, were you here last week?
I don't think so.
Okay, because last week we worked on our own ideas and stuff. We did all of this last week. Come up with an idea and drew like a bit of a model sheet and some thumbnail pages. And this week we're doing a full.
Yeah. Okay, I can still do that.
So yeah, try and come up with an idea. Just a little joke, like mine's a guy slipping on a banana peel. And then try and like just do 1 page. I ended up doing 3, but you can just do 1 page. Draw a simple character that you can draw over and over again.
Yeah.
And yeah, and then when you've done that, come up with a little idea, let me know and show it on camera and talk through it. And then I'll help you do some ideas, like help you work out some of your panels. So we're going to be doing this for the next couple of weeks until the end of term. So the goal is to have a finished page, inked up and everything. Okay, so any questions about doing, oops, sorry, I've just hit you, asked to unmute again, didn't mean to do that the same. Any questions about doing these panels? Adrian, have you got a question about that or something else?
I just got here because my mom was late because
that's okay.
she come from far away. Piece of paper.
I can go over it again because everyone's sort of working. Where are you? I've lost you. I can't see where you are anymore. Oh, there you are. Okay, you're in the middle of my screen. Okay, so what we're doing, were you here last week, Adrian? I'll wait till he comes back. Oh, you are there. Adrian, were you here last week?
Nope.
Okay. So I'll just go over it again because I just did it with Hussein as well, I think. So just bear with me. So everyone else, if you are still working, that's fine. If not, if you're ready to move on, just let me know in the chat, which I don't have open, so I haven't seen anything that people have written yet. It is kind of like a puzzle. That's a good, I think I just realized I can unmute myself. So yes, this is a comic. All right. So for those who have just joined or weren't here last week, and I apologize for those who were and have to listen to this again and again. For the next, until the end of term, we're going to be working on doing your own comic. So I wanted you to come up with a simple character idea. And this is what I did, just really simple. But you can use your own character that you draw. And I wanted to come up with an easy idea. So I did this storyboard, which is 3 panels. It could also be called a comic strip, like one you might read in the newspaper. So it's just a little guy whistling, and there's a banana peel. He slips on the banana peel and then falls down with a thud. Just really simple. And then so I designed the character, thought what I'm going to need to see in there, which is a different head of him whistling. So what his face looks like normal, what his face looks like whistling, what his face looks like scared, different angles of his feet, different hand poses, and then an action pose of him slipping over. So that's my model sheet for this comic. And then because I had 2 guys in there, I wanted to introduce a bad guy as well. So I made him look exactly the same, maybe a different color, but he's got eyebrows and mustache, just for something different. So then I did, this is what we did last week. We then did a thumbnail. So this is just a little sketch of how big the page is and then what each panel is going to look like on that page. So I did a little shot of him whistling, big shot of the city, whistling coming from the city. So we know this guy's in the city, walking down the street. And then the other side, we see a guy with a banana. Then we see the banana gets thrown. We see the first guy walking, banana hitting the ground. And then in this last panel on this first page, the foot about to step on the banana. Then on the next page, it's a one big panel of the guy slipping. And then on the third page, because it's like the big joke, this is the big action shot. On the third page, you just have the bad guy watching, sees the good guy fall on his head, then the bad guy laughs, and then the last panel, the good guy's there with a big lump on his head being all sad, and the bad guy's running away. So there's 3 panels of the comic or the storyboard I turned into 3 pages of the comic. And then so for this first page, where I've got all these storyboard panels, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 panels, I've then drawn them on this page. So first thing I did was I drew roughly a 1 centimeter border around the whole thing. And then I divided that up. Just I didn't use a ruler or anything. You can use a ruler, but I just sort of drew this curve, drew those lines in, just roughly found where I want these lines to go. And then I rubbed out all the gaps in between so they look like the panels are floating. And I think it was, yeah, James said kind of like a puzzle. So it is kind of like a puzzle. And now I'm going to then draw these characters, the rough ones here, I'm going to draw them in here, but with more detail. So it looks like a proper comic. And then the next stage will be inking. And then the next stage after that will be doing hash marks or color, things like that. Adrian, if you got a question.
So do I have to do the entire thing that you did?
I want you to get to this stage where you have an idea, where you have an idea of a joke and some characters, and you've roughed out a thumbnail of what a page might look like. So you don't have to do it the same way, but as long as you get to this point, that's fine. And then from that thumbnail, we're going to make a big one today. Hopefully, if everyone's done at least 1 page. Those who are still working, have you done 1 page? Are you working on extra pages?
I just started.
Yeah. What about everyone else? What about Amisha? Are you doing one page? Are you still working on your first page? Yeah. Okay. Kai, are you still working on your first page? No? Second page? Okay. So you've done one page, so you can start this today. Yep. Okay. Riley, are you on your first page? Yep. Okay. Are you doing more than one page?
No, I used a different sheet of paper that I can't ink on, so I'm doing another one.
Okay, you're drawing it. Okay, cool. So have you done this stage? We've drawn all
So,
okay.
wait, yeah, almost.
Audrey,
Go on.
hello. Are you doing one? You're doing more than one page, aren't you? I think you didn't you have a couple of pages? Yeah, but have you roughed out at least one page? No. Okay, so keep doing that. So you're doing this, aren't you? You're doing the thumbnail part still? Yeah. Okay. And Vidya, are you doing this stage still? Yep. And you're doing your first one? Oh, you got 3 happening. Or 4. 1, 2, 3. Okay. All right. Cool. Well, I think that's everyone I can actually see I've spoken to. Everyone else I can't see. I don't know if you're actually there or not. So if you have questions, you can write them down. Oh, Janita, nearly done first page. Cool. DePatra, working on first page. It's good. And James, I did one page. Cool. Okay, so a lot of you, as long as you've done at least one page, you can do this now. Maybe Kai too, you can move on to this. Because once you've then done your second page of thumbnail, you can come back and do this again. Oh, that's cool. So just imagine what your little panels are going to look like with gaps in between. So it won't look as cluttered, it'll look more sort of spread out as well. Okay, so I'll start on this page as well. Where is my pencil going? There it is. No, I might change my pencil. Okay, so now that I'm working in this large area, I'm looking at my thumbnails here. I've got my thumbnails right next to where I'm drawing, so I can look over at it. And then I've also got my models here as well. So I know that I need to draw this character whistling. So I've got my whistling head. I know what the character looks like. I know roughly what the image is meant to look like from the thumbnail. So I'm just going to start roughing it out. I'm going to leave space in here for the music note of his whistle. Actually, I might turn it into a speech bubble because in the next panel, there's a big speech bubble. Adrian, you got another question?
So what do I do because I didn't do the other sheet?
You can still do that because you're not at this stage yet. I want you to work on getting to this stage. So if you just think about an idea, a little simple joke or a little story you can tell with some simple characters, and something you can just draw really quickly and get to this stage. And then even if you do that by the end of this lesson, you could then re-watch this video from this lesson and then follow how I do this one. And then by next week, you would have caught up and be ready for inking maybe. So really just sort of get to the thumbnail stage. Think about a little joke, a character, and then plan out at least one page of a story. Does that make sense?
Yes.
If you need help, just ask. That's what I'm here for. And like put your camera on and you can show me what you're working on, and I can help you through it. Okay, so I'm going to draw this guy walking along. Maybe I'll do his sort of pumping his arms as if he's doing a little strut. Drawing his little whistle. That kind of thing. Does So sorry, that wasn't beige. So that's my first panel roughed out, ready to be inked. The next one's a bit harder because it's going to be a city. But like I've told you with other things, whenever you're drawing anything, just start with simple shapes. So there's my ground, sort of want my city to be here. And I'm just going to draw some different buildings, different height buildings, some sort of more Tetrisy shaped buildings, some in front, some behind. So I'm just adding in detail. I don't know if you guys can hear that, but I've got all these currawongs going off in my neighborhood at the moment. It's a nice thing about living in the mountains. Lots of wildlife. I think I had about 20 rosellas in my backyard eating the grass and the seeds and things the other day. So there's sort of my rough city. I could do some roads, driving into it as well. More buildings in the background. Maybe some more like suburbia kind of houses. That looks like a big McDonald's when I turn it into a McDonald's. Oh, and I forgot I need to do the whistle. So actually, what I'm going to do is a little trick where I can join up two speech bubbles. I get your question in a second, Adrian. I'm going to join up two speech bubbles here. Rub out what's in between. Because there's no dialogue in mine, so no one's actually talking, but there's just these sound effects. So I'll do like a whistle here, maybe like a double whistle here, and then I can do an arrow sort of into the city like that. Adrian, what is your question?
I've done the thing, the other one.
You've done the thumbnail, this one?
Yeah.
Okay, do you want to turn your camera on and we can have a look? Okay, do you want to, oh, it's off again.
I have backgrounds on, so it won't work.
Well, Vijay, you got 4 now, Vijay, have you? Wow. Wow, that's cool. Sorry, what did you say, Adrian?
What?
I didn't hear what you said. Can you turn your camera on?
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm going to be able to see your work because of the background. Sometimes if you hold it at a certain angle, you'll see it. So what's your idea for your story?
Walk in the trash cans.
Sorry, what in the trash cans?
A blob.
A blob?
Yes.
Okay. And what does a blob?
Technically bacteria.
Okay. And what does it do?
Infects other things and kill it and eat it.
Okay. That's cool. So how have you done your little thumbnail? Have you made out a whole page with different panels inside it? Or have you just done this bit?
I couldn't fit much pictures in it.
You just did this bit?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So now think about how you can turn that into a comic page with different panels and tell a story through those panels. So that's your next stage to do, okay? And also draw your character so we know what the blob looks like from, like, what is the blob doing? You might need to show him doing different things. Okay. So that's your next task. I like your idea so far. So I'll be interested to see how it goes. All right, let's move on to Shafir. Got a question? What do you want to show something? Nope, you're gone again. Where'd you go?
Oh, so can I show you my comic I finished?
Oh yeah, there you are. You put your hand down, you disappeared on my page. I could barely see that. Do you want to talk me through it? Oh, you've done a little curved one as well. Okay. Yeah.
There's two people watching the night sky,
Okay.
and this person's astonished.
Yep.
He's saying that it's like a shooting star to the other person.
Yep.
But then, wait. And he says to make a wish.
Yeah.
And he's wishing to make a girlfriend.
Okay.
Then the star, they can see the star.
Yep.
And when this guy falls on the ground with like a headshot, like a bullet goes through his head.
Okay. So he got hit by the star?
Yeah.
Okay. Is there more? Oh, the star has a gun. It's an actual shooting star. Oh my goodness. Is that the end?
Yeah.
Okay, that's really good. And you've already roughed it out like this. So it's pretty much ready to go. Have you got spaces in between your panels?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so just clean it up. I noticed in one of yours, the person that was astonished, I think you could actually draw that person a lot bigger.
Yeah.
You had it sort of like this. Person was like that big and there's all this space. So you could draw like them like huge with big eyes, you know, going, whoa, and even have the star shooting across the eyes kind of thing, as if you're seeing it reflecting in their eyes, you know, something like that to make it look bigger. Actually, you could even draw it so their body gets really small and they got really small feet, as if you're looking from above. So play around with that. You want to fill in your panels as well. You don't want them to be empty. And even the one with
just a draft.
Yeah. Well, that's what I mean. Like, it's just a rough, and then that's why I'm here to help you do more with your drawings. And even the one at the bottom with the star, he's pretty small in that big panel. So you could draw him a bit bigger, but you could also draw other things in the background, like clouds or the moon or something like that, just so there's other things in there.
Yeah.
But I like it. That's a really cool idea. It's funny. Yeah, so have a mess around, try and do like a second draft and see how you can, pardon me, how you can enhance your drawings and the panels. Just a second, Hussein. I'm just gonna, Riley, do you want to talk through yours? Because you've been holding that up for a while.
Okay, so mine is like this. So the guy jumps into the pod, he flies away with a few peas in the pod, then he flies to this other planet, then that's from the sun he gets like superpowers, and then the bad guy, this guy,
Is that the bacon guy? Yeah.
the bacon guy, he doesn't like it, so he says no fair. And then they have a big fight, and then the bacon guy thinks he's won, and then at the end, the other guy, pickle boy guy wins, and he says that he makes a great table.
Okay. Nice, because he looks like a table. Cool, good idea. I like it. Okay, who do we have? Someone else was there. Adrian, you got another question?
I finished the thing.
Okay, can you show it?
Maybe.
All you have to do is turn it on and hold it up to the camera. It might not work with that background. Oh, that's working. So what? Yeah, hold it up and explain what it is so we can see.
Blurry. It's not working. It's making me disappear. Okay, what else?
Well, it'd probably be better if you turned the filter off, the background off.
I'm gonna keep it on.
Okay, but it just means you can't see your stuff. That's all. You can show it sometimes if you show it at a certain angle. Sometimes you can see it. Yeah, I can't see it. That's why the camera needs to be off. I mean, the filter needs to be off because it's too hard to
Can
see.
I tell you what I did?
Yeah, tell.
A blob that's weird and misshapen.
The glove.
Blob thingy bacteria. Okay, what else?
Oh, blob. Sorry. Yeah. Yeah.
It's actually it's 2D. It's a 3D. It's 2D because it got squished, so now it's just 2D.
Okay.
It used to live in a trash can. It got someone touched the trash can. It jumped onto someone.
Okay.
Then he took off the space. And then the blob mutated while he got closer to the sun and turned into something that's about 552 billion kilometers long, even larger than maybe some of the smaller planets.
Yeah. Okay.
And 18 Godzilla.
Okay. And so what happens in the very end of the story?
Water touches it, it died. The end.
Oh, okay. Easy. Nice. All right, cool. So and was that at this stage of you've done it in like a little thumbnail?
Yeah.
Okay. So now that's your first draft. Try and do a second draft and see if you can make it any better. And I can't really give you any feedback on the panels because I can't see them. But then you could try drawing up this big page after that. Okay. All right. Kai, you were holding something up. Do you want to tell us about that?
Oh yes, please. So I finished my other panels with literally my first panel, literally just two others. And I think you've seen all this, for those people who weren't here, this is what it looks like.
Is that just one page?
Yeah, this is like one page out of the book.
That looks like a lot of panels on one page. How many are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. See, because you're in portrait as well, which is fine. You can do that. But I'm just thinking if you can sort of lay them out a bit better so they make
Okay.
a bit more sense, because like, do you read the top one with the 3 figures and then the 3 figures on their own and then come back to the next one underneath?
Okay, I'll see what you mean.
Yeah, I'm just not sure which order to read them in.
I kind of did the same thing with this, which I think I can improve on. I also made one giant panel of speech box.
Oh, I would hate to have to read that.
Yeah, I had to add a huge speech box because to get the concept of the story across is, in my words, hard to explain. So I tried to simplify it.
You simplify it by writing a novel in the middle of your comic.
Well,
It's fine. People do that.
And
yeah, sorry, you were going to say?
I didn't really have anything to say apart from that. While I was waiting, I sketched another character very quickly.
Yeah.
And you're literally switching over. It's a headlamp bird thing.
That's cool. I like that. That could be like sitting on someone's shoulder, or maybe it lives in the city and they light up the street at night or something like that. That could be creepy. But yeah, just keep with your landscape, because you're working on the side like this. So just draw that out a rectangle, and then think about just trying to think, like your first panel of those with the 3 people here. And then if it does go across to those others, maybe they're just little squares. So keeping them in the line would help.
Yeah.
So it's like where it's just individual people. And then I think your next one was a slightly bit bigger and it had some people talking or something like whatever. And then, yeah, try and sort of keep it like that. So you sort of know, even if like these ones are broken up or different shapes or whatever, just so you know you read like left to right like that.
Okay.
Even if there's small ones here and then a big long one and some more small ones or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I think these ones were long. And so it made it not sure if I need to read here and then here and
Oh,
then.
okay. Okay,
Yeah.
that makes
So
sense.
yeah, try and plan it out a bit in a thumbnail just so you can rework how the panels read.
Okay.
Yeah.
Also, I had a dream about a character I could add. Do you want me to tell you about it? Or
Maybe
do-
later. We've got a few other questions.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of questions.
There's a lot of questions.
I just noticed that. Sorry.
That's okay. But I like where you're heading, so just keep that in an idea. And then we'll check back on that later. Okay, Alex, what have you got there?
So far I did this. So I put my camera on.
Yeah, your camera was on a second ago. Sorry, just to answer James's question too while we're waiting. Yes, you can have writing. You can have writing in there, and Riley's finished something. I don't know how long ago you guys wrote that. I wasn't looking at things. Okay, Alex. So we've got the guy, and then a guy. Do you want to talk me through it because I can't see you writing it. So what's happening?
This stick character finds a pencil here, as you see here, and then he picks it up right in this column, and then he draws in his face to get a face here.
Oh, because he doesn't have a face.
Yeah, and then in this picture he finds chocolate, and then he runs to it in this column.
Yep.
But then he finds it right. He says yay. And then there's a trapdoor, so he falls down.
Okay. Is that the
And
end?
then there's still more to it.
Yep.
And
He falls
then he
through.
falls down. No, sorry. He eats it. No, he says he still has it right.
Okay. As he's
And then
falling, he eats it.
eats it.
Yep.
And then he looks down, and then he notices he's fat.
Okay.
And then he says no.
He keeps getting
And then
fatter.
it gets bigger, right? And then he gets this fat, and then he explodes.
Okay. Good. That was a good story. I like that. There were a few. I think you got a few too many panels.
Yeah.
You probably paper that down. So just turn your camera back on for a second so I can, because I need to look at your panels again. So just show me the first page again. And I'm going to try and rough it out. That's someone dancing. So there you're showing the guy, then you're showing the guy again. I think what you could do is, of course, what's the sign say?
It shows like where to go after that.
Oh,
So
is
then,
it this
yeah.
way or something?
This way, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And then he finds the pencil. All right. So I think you could just have, you could even just have that one big panel, because he seems like he's all alone. Actually, no, you could break it up into 3, but have the same background goes through. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So you could have maybe he's small here, he's big here with no face, like you only see like his arms and that, and then maybe he's a bit smaller here. So like he's walking like that.
Oh, I see, yeah.
Same thing, but we're split into 3 panels. And then maybe I like the crossover one you had when it was falling, but no, we don't. I don't think we need that one yet. You could just have his feet, maybe just show his feet. And then in this one, he steps on the pencil.
Oh yeah.
And so that's how he finds it. And then, sorry, can you not see that? It's pretty small on the screen. So yeah, he's walking. He's walking along, steps on the pencil. And then you could do him maybe a longer one where he's even like bending over, trying to reach down to get it. Actually, this could be a 3-panel one where he then stands up with the pencil, and then you sort of see him scribbling on his face. And then down here, he could be like face. Does that make sense? And then what happens
Yeah.
after that? Oh, that's when he looks along and he sees a chocolate, right?
Yeah.
So he could then, like, you could even end the story here, just have him walking along with a face now. So that could be your first page. And then the next page, you start at the top again, he's walking along, finds chocolate, and then falls through. So I don't know if you want to copy that down, but you don't have to do it like this, but I'm just saying this is a way that you could sort of make that feel a bit more like a comic page. And I've done that in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 panels. So how many panels did you do before you started walking away?
9.
There you go. It's
9.
almost the same. But yeah, so I mean, this is really 1. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. But because I split into 3 to show him sort of passing time, like he's wandering around with no face, not knowing where to go. And then he finds a pencil and has a face, and then he goes on his adventure. So I don't know, I'll leave that on the screen so you can copy that if you want, or even take some of those ideas to use in your own story. And that goes for anyone else who's watching too. If you like some of these ideas, or even the angles of just showing the feet or the wandering, that kind of thing, you can show passage of time by doing more panels. If you want something to go quick, you usually use the least amount of panels. If you want something to take a long time, like even to show time passing, I'll try and do something up here. Like if someone's waiting, you could just draw, hang on, I'll just move it down here for a second. You could just draw like a clock here, and the person just, their legs crossed, bored, leaning on in a chair or something like that, and have them looking at the clock. And so it could feel like they're waiting, kind of thing. But if you did the panel broken up with this same person sitting here and the clock in one position, and then you could draw them like in another position, and the clock's changed, and then the clock's changed, and then the clock's changed, and maybe, here they're in another position, and here they've fallen asleep. That's showing that you don't even have to have a clock in there, but just showing that this person's in a one place and changing positions and then even falling asleep means that time is passing, because it takes you time to look at each panel. And that's what I was sort of getting at here. They're wandering. So they're wandering from way back there, or even you could have drawn them the horizon and just had them behind the horizon, like just sort of popping up. So not even showing their legs. So they're really far in the distance, and then they come all the way towards the camera or the viewer, the reader, and then they start wandering off again. So that shows that he's walked a long way. So there's little tricks you can use to show passing of time and stuff like that within a comic without saying, after a long walk in the desert, or something like that. Yeah. Cool. All right. So sorry, I should be getting back. We're almost out of time too. So I'll leave that on the screen while I'm talking to other people. Hussein, have you got something else?
I'd like to show mine.
Yeah, turn your camera on. Let's have a look.
Might not be able to see it properly. Oh, wait, let me just. This is part of a comic series I've already made. Like I've made a lot of books.
Okay.
I've
Great.
drawn a lot of characters too.
Well, as long as you
this comic is called Rubber.
Okay.
Yeah. So over here, I think. Oh yeah. Anyways, there's this person over here. He's walking normally, and there's a guy sneaking up on him.
It looks like he's flying. Okay.
Well, yeah, kind of. I tried to make him slide down a hill. Anyways,
Okay.
this guy, he sees the hand. The man who's walking sees the hand. Sees a hand like going to him, and he looks behind, and he doesn't realize there's a banana peel right here. And
Okay.
then in this part, he slips, and then in this part, and then 5 seconds later, this happens. Give me my wallet. Then the bad guy's like, run. And then this is just sounds, boom, like the gun. And
Yeah.
then rubber part two, the ambulance company, no. And then the doctor's over here, and he's in the bed, and the doctor's saying he's not going to make it. And then the end is a bunch of graves. Each grave has a flower, but this guy, his name is Creighton. He doesn't have a flower, and on his grave it says nobody loved him.
Oh wow. That's sad.
Did a bunch of other comics for him.
So is that the guy that slipped on the banana peel? He got robbed and then he died.
Yeah, pretty much.
Wow, that's a sad story. Okay. There were some good panels there. I think when you went from the ambulance to the hospital, and even the sirens, you could have continued. You can do a sound effect over several panels. So of where the guy was in the hospital bed here, you could have had a space and had the ambulance here with another space, and you could have done the neen or neen or neen or neen or neen or like that over the whole thing. Yeah, so you didn't even have to draw the panel here. You could have just had that empty and just drawn an ambulance and had the sound effect, and the sound effect could have even gone over to the bedroom or the hospital room panel, and it could have started over the robber, like when he's on the guy that got robbed laying on the ground, and have the ambulance sound already. And it could start small, so it's like nino 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 nino.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Also, can I show you another?
Yeah,
small
one more.
comic?
It's
It's from the same series, Crazy Creighton.
Yeah.
So there's this I'll just read it out. There's a guy. He's on his computer. His name is Creighton, and he's trying to code, but then an error comes. Error 203. There is a bug, and then he starts screaming because he's allergic to bugs, and he runs out of the neighborhood.
Okay.
And then he runs out, and everybody's staring at him. So he says sorry, and then he reads it, and then he goes back home, reads his computer properly, and it says computer bug, and then he's like, oh.
Okay, that's cool. I'd like to see more of those comics. Great, good job. Okay, we're going to move on to Adrian.
I finished doing the second sheet on planning it.
Okay, what happens in the second part?
Rubbish truck, more like rubbish trash comes. Meant to be an ambulance. It fixed him. Now he got injected by he's already rubbish, and then he turned into bacteria.
Okay.
And then
Have you got a picture of it?
And then next he got squished by a car and
Got splattered. Have you got a picture of the bacteria blob guy and the super bacteria that we can see?
Yeah, it just technically had the cape, and then he got lines all around him.
Does it just still look like a blob though?
Yes.
Okay, so it's just a blob with a cape.
Yes.
Okay. That's cool. All right. DePatra, you got something to add?
Yeah.
See, that's very blurry.
Yeah, I don't think you can see it. But
No.
what happens in my story is that a cat is really in love with a glass, and he really likes it that he hugs it and stuff. But when he hugged it, it fell off the table. He looks down on the floor and he sees it broken. Then he had like a really bad meltdown because he's really sad.
Like a tantrum kind of thing.
Yeah. And
Okay. Yeah.
angry. Yeah, and then because someone needed to vacuum it, a vacuum comes into the room and then it goes near the cat and it gets really scared and then just jumps off the table.
Okay. And that's the end. He gets scared by the vacuum.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I like the story. It's a shame I can't see it, but yeah, that'd be cool. So I think you could do some really good angles with the cat like screaming. That could be a big panel. If that was your page, like you could do a big, huge panel with the cat like, it's really rough. Right in the middle kind of thing with the other panels just sort of around telling the story.
Yeah.
But the actual whole page is this screaming cat. So like all the emotions at one thing, and there's just like floating panels on top, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's all I can think of without seeing it. But yeah, that sounds cool. I like the story.
Thanks.
Audrey, I just saw your message, but I'll get back to you after Vidya, I think. Joe, what have you got?
So I got it like a comic of there are two people. One's a robot that if he stops singing, he will explode. So
Okay.
in the top part, it shows him at the start singing. And then in the next part, he is walking down a street when the other side there is Steve, and he already knows that he'll explode if he stops singing. And then suddenly Steve's face goes wide because he's starting to cough, like the robot man's starting to cough. And he coughs once more. And then suddenly he sees Steve and says, "Oh, hi, Steve." Suddenly Steve is like in an angry / sad emotion face saying, "What have you done?" And then in the last part, it goes like, it exploded.
Okay, because he stopped singing. That's great. I think there's a couple of things you could do there. I'd like to see, because they both look like stick figures, I'd like to see some difference between your two characters, what Steve looks like and what the robot looks like. So that might be your next step, is to do some character design, like these kind of things. And just sort of plan out what different characters look like. Okay, so we're going to move on. Vidya, what have you got there?
Sure.
Yeah, out of time.
So I made this person like she just woke up. This is her. This is her house. She just woke up. She's going to go eat her breakfast, but then her fish pet says hi to her, and she's very confused. And the next day she's just shocked.
Okay. A big shocked panel.
Like, never mind, who cares? And she thinks that she's just dreaming. And then she goes down the stairs. It was supposed to carry on, and when she was eating her breakfast, and then someone knocked on her door, and then animals were just arriving.
Okay, she's like, okay, whatever. Let's just go on with the story. All right, cool. I like that. You've got a lot of spaces between your panels there too, so I think you can sort of clean them up a little bit. I don't know if you need a whole panel for the shocked one, a whole page for the shocked one. You could probably do something similar to the cat one that I was showing before, where it's like she's just big shocked in the whole panel, or it could even just be getting up in the morning, whatever, the fish says hi, that's the fish saying hi, and then it could just be a large one with her just like, what? And then her going, oh well, like shrugging, oh well, whatever, and then going on with the story. I don't know if you can really see that, but yeah, it's something similar like that. But that was cool. I promised Audrey would be next, and then I think that's going to have to be the last one because we are out of time. So Audrey, do you want to tell me or show me yours?
I've only done one page.
That's fine.
So this is the first thing.
Yeah.
She's getting ready for school, and then this is her school.
Yep. So see the girl is school.
And then since she's like very popular,
This is her at school.
basically the whole since she's very popular, basically the whole
You've gone really quiet. I can't hear you. Are you covering your mic?
So basically she's very popular, and the whole school is and this is her grandma.
That's her teacher there.
No, her grandma.
Oh,
Her-
grandma.
Her grandma works as the principal.
Yeah. Okay. I was remembering the story.
Yeah. And then she says hi to her grandma.
Yep.
And she says hi back. And then her grandma goes into her office because she's got someone she wanted to introduce to her granddaughter, and she's telling him that she's here, and then she introduces to him, and once, because she didn't like him, she actually stole his photo and scribbled it all over.
Okay.
I don't like him.
Yeah, that's funny. Okay, sorry about everyone. Amisha, sorry we're out of time. We got to go. So Peter's going to unmute everyone in a second. What I'd like you guys to do, you've done really great work. Try and do another rough of your pages, whether you're doing landscape or portrait, and rough it out. And then if you can, where's my page here? And then do like a full size, a life size version of it and put in more detail. Like I've just roughed out my city there, but I'll go back and I'll draw in windows and things like that, and I'll rough out the whole thing. And then next week we should be up to inking stage, hopefully. Yeah, so that's all we've got for today. And next week we'll continue doing the same comic and get more.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for the lesson.
Bye.
Bye.